Okay, this is the situation at the beginning of turn 7. We've just done the reinforcement phase. The British have got 1 new dreadnought, and of course for the Entente player, the American Navy now comes to bear 6 new dreadnoughts. They're going to be able to certainly take care of the North Atlantic and maybe the western approaches, take some of the burden off the British. So that's going to make a difference. As we know, the Russian Navy is out of it now. The October Revolution is on, and these ships are immobilized. It makes me wonder about, now for the CP, if I had the Goeben go into the Black Sea, the Yavuz Selim might still be around to get them a point of the Black Sea, but that's all water under the bridge. So we'll do the repair phase, which will be, it's going to stretch the German repair capacity to the limit. Forgot to bring these ships home, and the British should be able to repair most of their damage, but I think we're seeing the sunset of the German Navy here. Let's do the repair phase, and then we'll continue the video. Okay, with their superior repair capacity, the British are able to bring back, I think, 9 dreadnoughts. The Germans about 6. So we'll start turn 7 with the EP movement phase. Again, we're going to try to get them to maximize as many points as possible and drown the CP out, the CP player out. The CP will have to rely now pretty well on U-boats to win the war, unless they do a risky move with what's left of the High Seas Fleet and grab some points somewhere or defeat a section of the British Navy, but that's not too likely. But let's see what the EP player can do. Okay, that's the CP, or the EP move, Entente, and the French Navy out of Brest is certainly disappointing us. They didn't get to move. I've split the Americans up, though. 2 ships are going to try to get into the South Atlantic. The Texas is going to try to get into the western approaches. Actually, you might as well make 2 of them. What the heck, 3? So relieve some of the British. That'll happen only in the bonus movement phase. I've moved all of the British squadrons, 4 of them at least, into the Dogger Bank. Actually, I'll move them all. And some of them will go into the Heligoland Bight. I've detached 3 ships to go into the North Sea. So we've got a very, very tight formation there, really boxing the CP player in. Down in the Mediterranean, I'm going to try a risky move. Just going to try it. I'm going to try to milk it for every point we can get. The Invincible and the Inflexible are going to go into the Aegean Sea. But I'll make the Invincible, nice name, he's actually going to run through this minefield to try to get into the Black Sea. Be interesting if they can get a point there. Okay, we'll see what the CP player can do, and there isn't a lot they can do. They could try for a coastal raid, but the British battle cruiser squadron is more than a match for the German squadron, which is only 3 ships, so that's pretty well out. I could go for that merchant raid again, and I could probably, well, I will get away with it, probably, although depending on what the Americans do here. So, I don't know. Going to the Baltic for 3 points, I guess, is all I can really do. Let me think about the CP move. Okay, I compromised a bit. I moved the Schleichen into the Baltic Sea. Nobody can really hurt her because the Russians can't sail. And the 3 other squadrons have gone into Heligoland Bight. I've also deployed the U-boats. And we have the Austro-Hungarians, which will have to roll 3 dice to see if they move. I'll deploy the Austro-Hungarian U-boats in the Eastern Mediterranean. 3 dice. Now 4 ships sallied out for the Italians, but the AH player is going to be brave and try to get his men out. Actually, only 2 ships. No, pardon me, 3. Here we go. 1. That's not going to be very good. But that's war. Okay, now we've got the Entente player's bonus move. And let's see. Well, I'm going to try to beat up on the Heligoland Bight fleet with the 5th and the 4th squadron. And I'll have the 2nd and the 4th, or the 1st. Heck, let's try them all. Let's try to bust them up. Okay, 1st squadron does not make it. 4th squadron does not make it. 2nd squadron doesn't make it. So much for my big Jutland. Battle cruisers, they don't make it. Holy cow. It's up to the 5th battle squadron, which already has 1 ship detached. You almost don't want to make it. Let's see what happens. She doesn't. So nobody moves. Amazing. Okay. Oh yeah, we have the invincible and the inflexible down here. Right. This is going to be interesting. Okay, I'll do the inflexible first to see if she gets into the Aegean. She does. Okay, now comes the big move. The invincible trying to get into the Black Sea. She rolls. She does not make it. So she just stays where she is. Too bad. I would have liked to see what happens when a squadron goes through a CP minefield. We still have the Americans up there. So these 2 vessels try to get into the South Atlantic. They both make it. That's cool. Okay, and we have 3 vessels trying to get into the western approaches. Now this is critical because there's 3 points up for grabs there. We need to get 1 ship in there. Yes, 1 gets in there. That's just going to make the difference. So the Americans are helping the British there in the north. So the only surface combat we have here is in the Adriatic. But we have to do all merchant attacks first. And the British submarine I put in the Adriatic. So I'll do the merchant shipping, see how many points the CP player gets. Okay, as we suspected, the points are drying up for the CP player in merchant shipping. She got 3 points, so that'll bring the EP marker down to 1. So they're doing something, but it's greatly reduced. That leaves the British submarines to attack the Tigehoff. She needs a 6. She does not get it, so the submarines return home. And that leaves only 1 single battle left, and that's the poor old Tigehoff versus these 4 Italian vessels, assuming we get results favorable on the engagement table. You always have to roll 4. Maybe the Tigehoff won't even get sighted. So we'll roll the table, see what happens. Now I'm having to dive for the rules all the time because I haven't made up a chart with all the charts on 1 sheet. If I can, I'm going to try to get some of the charts on the map. There seems to be open areas where they will fit. So in the finished production, hopefully we'll get them in. Okay, so we're rolling for the Entente player, and he rolls a 5, which means the Tigehoff will be fighting. How many squadrons does he go against? 4. Oh, there you go. The squadrons didn't sight him. So there's no battle in the Adriatic, which means the Allies don't get a point, but neither do the CP players. So, a quiet turn, that turn. So we'll just add up the points, see how it went. Okay, the EP got 10 points that turn, and the CP got 4. So the EP gained 6 points. So we're sliding the marker up now. Okay, so the EP is now at 7 points. Clearly the war has changed in their favor. Now since that turn went so fast, I might as well go ahead and do turn 8 at the same time. Probably finish the video in this one session. Okay, we're on turn 8 now, second last turn of this playthrough. Ships have gone home. There are no reinforcements now. Every ship that can come on is on. Now we'll do the repair phase. Now finally the Germans can repair their hits. They can repair a 8, and they only have 6. So the High Seas Fleet on the second last turn will be able to sail if they wish. The British have no trouble moving their 4 damage points. And we're ready to do the EP movement phase. Again, I think the CP player is already choked. He's going to have to desperately get points someplace, and there's not too many places to get them. So let's see what the EP player does. Okay, the French Navy belatedly did their part by moving a ship into the South Atlantic, and they moved one into the Western Mediterranean. The Indomitable moves into the Azores. I move 3 ships into the Eastern Mediterranean, and 2 of those battle cruisers are going to try to get into the Aegean and 1 back into the Black Sea. Playing like a madman now, trying to get every point possible. And I'm experimenting with the game too to see what works and what doesn't work, of course. I wouldn't necessarily do this in a 2-player game. I've put several vessels into the English Channel. And I've just moved everybody into the Dogger Bank. Deployed the British submarine into the Baltic in case the Germans try to get cheap and move just 1 dreadnought like the Schleichen in there or something. So we'll do the CP move, see what they can do. Okay, the CP player didn't do anything really unexpected. They deployed their U-boats to get as many merchant areas as possible. They did move the Schleichen in to the Baltic Sea, so if the British submarine does not sink the Schleichen or damage her, the German can get 3 points. So she's leaving that up to a die roll. She moved all of her forces into the Heligoland Bight because she figures the Entente player might want to have a big dust-up. So she wants to be united. She'll only get 1 point if she stays there. So a better move might have been to go into the North Sea, but that would mean die rolls, and that's always unsure. So she's leaving it up to the Entente player to risk using the die rolls to engage her. So we go now with the Entente player's bonus moves. We'll see what happens after they attempt. Okay, since something exciting happened, I thought, well, what the heck, we might as well get this on film. The Inflexible did move into the Aegean, and the Invincible did get a successful roll into the Black Sea. However, they get the joy of using the beloved mine combat table, which I'll have to look up here. And she's going to roll 2 dice. She wants to roll 2 through 7 if possible. So the Invincible is going to try to force the minefield. I think historically, the Allies did try to go into the Bosporus there, but it didn't work out too well. I don't think any surface vessels by the Entente ever made it to the Black Sea. I think some submarines did. Anyway, for the game, they're rolling on the mine combat table, and they get a 6, which means there's no effect, and the Invincible does break into the Black Sea. Interesting. Okay, now we have to do those rolls up there in the North Sea here, and I'm going to try to move every single vessel into the Heligoland Bight for a big Jutland battle on the second last turn. Okay, we'll go in order. First squadron does not make it. Second squadron does make it. Fourth squadron does not make it. Fifth squadron does not make it. That leaves the battlecruiser squadron. Yikes. Not good. Not good at all. All right. Well, you never know. Second squadron isn't to be laughed at. It's fairly good. So we're going to have a potential big battle in the Heligoland Bight, and 3 points are up for grabs there. So we have to do merchant combat first. Resolve the submarine attack here. Then we do this potential surface battle in the Heligoland Bight. Oh, which reminds me, I forgot, we've got to move the Americans there. I always forget about them because they're way up in the northwest. So they're going to do their usual thing. They'll just take well, I might as well take 4 vessels. Well, actually, you might as well make it 5. And all of them will attempt to go into the western approaches to help relieve the British. So we've got 5 dice there. All they need is a 5 or 6. And they get at least 1. That's good. So the Texas will go into the western approaches. That'll deny the Germans. That was 3 points. So that was a critical move. Okay, now we'll resolve the merchant shipping. Let's see how many points the CP get. Okay, I was just rolling for merchant shipping, and the CP has 4 points. But here in the Adriatic, I mean, it's a 1 in 6 chance, but I'm going to have the U-boat attack the Conte Cavour instead. Denies the EP player 1 point if she hits him. And yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll roll a die. I would need a 6 to damage the Conte Cavour. I do not get a 6, so that U-boat attack failed. Okay, I think that does it for all of the U-boat combat. We have this very interesting battle here in the Baltic. Does the British submarine, I think they were called S-boats, they attack the Schlesien. So what they need is a 6. Do they get it? They do not. So the submarine does not sink the Schlesien. So that ends all combat. We'll add up the points and see where we're at. Okay, the EP scored 12 points in area control. The Germans had 4. So that still helps the EP in a big way. They actually go up 8 points. So we slide the marker up, and they're right up at the maximum, 10. So the EP is clearly winning the game now. Now I'll put these ships back in port, and we'll do the last turn of the game. It's heavily in favor of the EP now. I think the CP would have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to win this one. But let's play it out and see how it goes. Okay, we're on the last turn of the game. I've reset all the ships. They're back in home ports. And as we saw, the EP has got a comfortable lead with their VP at the 10 mark. So I think it's almost impossible for the CP player to win. But let's play it out and see what happens. Okay, that's after the EP is moved. I've split the American Navy. Have put 3 ships are going to try to get into the western approaches. 2 are going to go into the English Channel. All this relieves the British to put the weight against the Germans. The French continue with their abysmal performance, but they at least put 1 ship into the western Mediterranean and the South Atlantic. I'm going to try to move 2 battle cruisers into the Aegean. I won't try that mad dash into the Black Sea now. That's kind of reckless after all the arrowhead points. The Italians sailed, but only 1 ship sailed. So we now have the CP player to move. Now all I can think of is trying for a mad dash in the North Sea, which might give the Germans 3 points. They could go into the Baltic with their whole fleet there and almost guarantee 3 points. But part of me says, why not go out in style? Try running the mines in the channel and going there for 3 points. It's viable because, well, it's viable. I don't know, depending on what gets there. But to make the game fun, let's put all the CP squadrons in the Heligoland bite. This will give them some options. Then the EP player has to do his bonus moves, and depending on those, the German player will be able to take advantage of things. So let's do the EP bonus moves and see what happens. Okay, the Americans got some of their vessels into the western approaches, but the Delaware and the Wyoming did not move into the South Atlantic, the English Channel. It doesn't really matter too much, although if the Germans make a dash into the channel for 3 points, that could make a difference. I was thinking of making a squadron counter for the Americans, but I'm not sure if I need to, since the Americans come late in the game and they tend to spread out their ships anyway. But okay, now we have to make a decision on the British. And I'm going to try for a Jutland again in the Heligoland Bight. Well, maybe I should rethink that. No, I'll move the battlecruiser squadron into the English Channel, by die roll, of course. They don't make it. Isn't that cute? Okay, and these other 4 squadrons will try to crash into the Heligoland Bight and engage the Grand Fleet, the High Seas Fleet. Okay, 5th Squadron does make it. 1st Squadron does make it. 4th Squadron does not make it. 2nd Squadron does not make it. So, now the German player has an opportunity here because I've left stuff open, or rather the dice to some degree has left things open. Maybe I played a bit sloppy at the end there. Oh, we have the 2 cruisers down here to roll for too. Okay, we'll go for Invincible. She makes it, and the other one also makes it, so they both go into the Aegean. So I guess being overconfident with points, I made some mistakes. Oh, and we've also got the Austro-Hungarian Empire here to roll for, to see if their ships make it out. Oh, 1 ship does. Okay, let's make it the Veribus Unitas. And I've got to deploy the U-boats, which I forgot. But that's no big deal. Put 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Oh, 1 there. Oh, 1 there. Wait a minute, I had a U-boat there in the Mediterranean. There we go. Go there. And U-boats. Yeah, I'll go to the Western Mediterranean here. All right, so I'll roll for the merchant shipping. Then we'll see about this potential battle. But, you know, with some crazy die rolls, could turn out to be a close game. I might have blown it. Let's see how she goes. Okay, the merchant shipping didn't do too bad for so late in the game. Knocked the EP player down to 6 points, so the ending might be a little closer than I anticipated. Well, it's going to depend on this Heligoland Bight battle and whether the submarine, I forgot to move the Schleichen in, can sink the Schleichen. So the British submarine will fire at the Schleichen. Kind of nice if it actually hit this time. Let's see. Needs a 6. Oh, it doesn't. Back the submarine goes to Great Britain. Okay, now it's going to depend on this dust up here in the Heligoland Bight, or whether the Germans want to try to move into the North Sea, or the English Channel for that matter. Well, if this was a tournament and you're playing for points or money or something, you try to go for the big win, so that's what we're going to try. All right, the 3rd Squadron will try to go into the North Sea. They roll. They get a 2. They do not. And, by the way, you're supposed to designate your destinations before you roll. But my intention was to move into the North Sea and the English Channel. So the 1st Squadron will try to get into the English Channel. I do know I'm going to be running the mines. They roll a 1. It's irrelevant. And the Scouting Squadron I should have designated. I didn't. So that's that. So now we have a potential battle of 3 squadrons versus 2 in the Heligoland Bight. Okay, both sides have to roll on the engagement table. The Germans will roll first. They roll a 7, which means they can use 2 squadrons. They'll use the 1st and the 3rd. The British now roll. They roll a 7. They can use 2 squadrons. So we have 1 big battle left in the Heligoland Bight. Now, if this was a tournament play, both players would be looking ahead to see what could and could not happen. So, no matter what happens in the Heligoland Bight, even if the Germans win this battle, they really can't win the game. They would get 1 point for the area, and they're going to get 3 points for the Baltic Sea, so the most they're going to get is 4 points. The Allies already have about 7 points in area control. So unless in this big battle, and it's big, there's lots of ships here. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 ships versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 ships. So this is kind of neat in that it's like a big Jutland battle at the end. And we actually we have to fight it out because there are still points for dreadnoughts that are sunk. So if the CP are to win the game, they will have to win this battle and win big. So this is going to be kind of exciting. And we'll follow the action after I've rolled down the line for the CP and EP players. And some of the German ships in this battle are some of their heavy hitters, like the Baden and the Bayern and the flagship Frederick the Great. Now, because the Frederick the Great is present, the Germans can pull a battle turn away, but to pull a German turn away would mean just losing the game. So I know gamers, what they would do, they'd fight it out to the end. And that's what we're going to do. We'll fight it out and let's see what happens. Okay, that was a horrendous first round. The British, though, are finally getting the hits in. They inflicted what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 hits on the German Navy, while the German Navy managed to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. There was a spectacular hit with 3 damage points in a single turn on the Warspite. Now, true, the Germans do have more ships, so their lasting power is there. But historically, I think they would retire now. The German Navy just can't take the losses. These are real men, real ships. But we're war gamers, right? We're moving cardboard counters, and, I think players would still play it out, because you never know what's going to happen. Like that last round there where the Germans rolled 3 6s. The British could easily roll that too. And some of these ships are a little thin-skinned. So against my better judgment, we'll go to a second round and let's see what happens. Okay, that was another horrific turn with lots of good hits. And so many, in fact, that a couple of ships have to break off. The Hercules and the Thuringen. Now, German ships can take a lot of damage, and I don't know, a lot of thin-skinned vessels up here for the British. I'll rearrange the ships after the break-off markers, and we'll look at the situation and see if the Germans should stay for another round. Now, the one advantage they do have is that they have 5 ships in reserve here that are not even engaged, and as each ship is knocked out, they will be able to fire. So they will stay for another round, and battles in this game are only 3 rounds anyway. So let's take a look at the situation after I've rearranged the line and made the decision to fight or not. That's the situation after the lines have been dressed. Now this will be a very critical turn because it is the last battle round, and some of the ships have enough damage that they could actually sink. At this point, one side might even want to withdraw, but the British want to fight it out. I mean, the Heligoland bite alone is worth 3 points for them. So it's in their interests to stay, although they'll be very sorry if they get so many ships sunk that they lose the game. I better look at the points again and evaluate. Well, I still think it's worth it for the British to stay. Although, even if they stay, nobody will get the points for the Heligoland bite, because remember the scouting squadron, which did not participate in the battle, will still be there, as will the 1st and 5th. So no one's going to get the points for Heligoland bite. So now the question becomes, the EP has 6 points. If they lose 7 ships, they could very well lose the game. Although they have some points in the bank, of course, with the areas they control. But it's still a very critical battle. But to make it interesting, what the heck? Let's fight the last round and see how many ships do sink. Now, by the way, the only ship that has sunk in the entire game was the Queen Mary. That's 1 point that the Germans had. So one thing I like about the new damage model is that you're not getting lots of ships sunk, like in the original War at Sea game. Here we go, the 3rd round. Let's see what happens. Oh, since it is the last round, why don't we make it live? Okay, 6 dice against 5. Here we go. And they each get another hit. 2 damage on Bayern, 4 damage on Revenge, which means she's going to have to break off. Not that it's going to make any difference on the last turn. Okay, same deal. 6 dice against 5. That's the Baden versus the Ramillies. And the Baden inflicts a hit on the Ramillies, making that 3. The Frederick the Great versus the Marlborough. 4 dice each. What I'm doing here is using gray dice for the Germans and blue for the EP players to make it faster. 4 dice each. Ouch. That's 2 hits on the Marlborough. Not enough to cause her to sink, but okay, the Kaisers against the Neptune. 4 dice against 3 dice. Kaisers. A hit each. Damage on there. Damage on there. Okay. The Kaiser versus the Agincourt. Again, 4 versus 4. Nothing. Okay. This is a critical one because the Markgraf, if she gets hit badly, could sink. So the St. Vincent needs to get some nice firing here. Here we go. Nothing. Okay. We're down to the Koenig versus the Collingwood. 4 dice against 3. Nothing. You can see the dice can be very fickle in this game. 4 dice against 3 again. That's the Prince Luitpold against the Colossus. A name like that, let's see what she can do. She doesn't do much. Okay. What do we got here? We got the Koenig Albert against the Valiant. The Valiant's going to roll 5 dice. That's a mighty mean ship. What can she do? She doesn't do much. Oh, she does 1 hit. Okay. 1 hit on the Koenig Albert. Okay. The Grosser Kurfürst against the Queen Elizabeth. I think Grosser Kurfürst means the Great Elector. Not up in my German. Okay, and that's 4 against 5 for the Queen Elizabeth. Okay, come on. These Queen Elizabeth class ships are pretty mean. Let's see what she can do. Nothing. I guess they don't have the range finding. Must be misty out there. Okay, 5 dice against 4 again. That pits the Crown Prince Wilhelm against the Barham Queen Elizabeth class battleship. Yo! The CP inflicts 2 hits on the Barham, which puts her at 3. She's still fine, but that sure hurts. Okay. The Posen versus the Malaya, another Queen Elizabeth ship here. These Queen Elizabeths are turning out to be a little disappointing. Well, there's finally a hit. So that puts the Posen at 3, which means if there were further round, she'd have to break off. Put a break off marker. Psychologically, it looks good. And we've got 4 dice against 5. Nothing. But the Oldenburg is at the end of the line, and she's allowed to fire on the Warspite. So she's going to get 4 dice. Let's see where that goes. So we get the last round. What happens? Oh, you got to be kidding. You got to be kidding. I'm not faking the video. That's actually what they rolled. They rolled 3 6s. Yeah, I'm used to that. So 3 hits on the Warspite, and she takes the plunge. Wow. Where's the good old sunk marker? The Warspite goes down, giving the German another point. Okay. Well, after that horrendous battle, we take all the damaged ships, put them back in their port, and there's going to be very few left out there in the field. But the balance of power won't change in the Heligoland bite. Nobody will control the area. Let's put the ships away and start evaluating points. Yeah, there's the ships after they've returned to port with their hit markers. And you can see the German fleet is damaged very badly. Now, if you were to go into overtime here, go past the turn record, the Germans would not be able to repair their vessels as fast as the German. But we have to remember that in a game on World War I at sea, there's things happening on land. So by 1918, the Germans are in a bad way on land too. I think that's why my son drew just that's the Western front lines there. So we can't play this game in a vacuum. The Allies are winning on land too. But let's evaluate the points and see what the final score is. Oh, we forgot our little wee battle here in the Adriatic. You never know. 1 point is 1 point. Have to roll on the engagement table first. 4. I can't remember that table. I'll have to make a table. I think 4 though means it's nobody engages. Nope, the two ships do not sight each other, so no one's going to get the points there. Let me add up the points and we'll see how it is. Okay, in points, the EP player scored 8 points and the Germans only scored 3. So that means the Entente player goes up 5 points and right to the 10. So the EP player has won the game and won it fairly well with a nice margin. So I'm going to make a few closing comments on the game, tell you what I like, what maybe needs tweaking. And yeah, I'll just make a few comments on the game itself. Okay, High Seas Fleet, or Kaisers Fleet. I don't know why I keep calling it High Seas Fleet. It's Kaisers Fleet 1914. And I think the game is ready to go. I've made the components as best as I can. Of course, when a professional artist comes on, he'll do a better job than I can do on the counters. So I think it's ready to be submitted, and I can officially say playtesting is over. Now, at first, I thought I'd have to tweak the merchant shipping table. I thought for sure the CP was running away with the game. But I see now that in the long term, if the EP plays a long-term game, they should win, and that's fairly historical. Now, when I design a game, I don't necessarily decide from square one, I'm going to make this game balanced no matter what. I can't design that way because I'm too much, a lover of history. History is not balanced sometimes, and World War I is not really balanced for the German at sea. It's grossly imbalanced. But I think within that framework, you can still make it a half-decent game. And I think I've succeeded. The EP is probably going to win with good play and a little bit of luck. And the CP is probably going to lose. But if they take some risks, get some good die rolls, they could win. And that's all you can ask for. It would be like trying to, arbitrarily balance an American Civil War game. I mean, the Confederacy is probably going to lose the American Civil War. Very likely going to lose. But it's still fun to play it out. So balance is not a big thing with me. So that's it for Kaisers Fleet 1914. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I've made it interesting enough. And with that, I'll say adieu. And thank you very much for watching.